Yo, guys, I hope you're well. Guys, it just gets worse. I was looking to do another long piece, people, an observation piece, but this came into my feed not so long ago, guys. It just gets worse. And this is all about sharing online material of the riots. Guys, let's check it out.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to stir up racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence.
So our man here, I'm not certain what his name is, so unfortunately I don't know, so apologies on that. But he's telling us now that if you retweet anything which is likely to have some sort of evidence of racial or any other form of hatred, you yourself will be liable, even though you didn't write the tweet, but because you've retweeted the tweet, then you're in trouble. So I know that a lot of people will have tweets and they'll just retweet it without even looking at it properly. But what this guy is now saying is, I think he's saying, in the eyes of the law, that's going to be no excuse, and you could potentially end up and land up in jail.
And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material.
Did you hear that? He just said that there are dedicated police officers scouring social media, and their job is to look for that material. Guys, I'm going to wheel that back again because I think it's really important we hear what he just said.
And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
Did you hear that? That sounded biblical, didn't it? The consequences will be visited upon them because what the people are doing is serious and it's harmful. The consequences will be visited upon them. The judgment will be held against them. So guys, that is pretty serious and that is pretty forthright to me. So this government is doubling down on what he said before, and they're not only coming for you people in the physical realm, but they're coming for you, and they're coming for us, I should say. So they'll be coming for us, not just in the physical realm, people, but all along social media. So there's no excuse, and the excuse isn't even now that you didn't write the material, but if you in some way have retweeted it or passed it on, shared it, etc., etc., you are as culpable as someone who had a pen and a paper and wrote it themselves, or who had a keyboard and keys and typed it themselves. You are now culpable, and you're as culpable as the person who came up with that material. So guys, we just need to join the dots here. I think what's happening is they're looking to curtail people's rights to protest. So as I said to you, in the physical realm, if you're out on the streets and you're protesting peacefully, I think the end game there is to stop that or to curtail it in a massive way. Maybe they'll put quotas on how many people can actually be present at any one time. I don't know, people. Because the only other way for this then is to go through a legal process to apply to protest, and they could stop you protesting from your application, people. So in the physical realm of protesting, but they also want to stop us because on social media or via social media, via the airwaves, radio waves, whatever waves they are, where people will share, comment, talk and discuss, that's going to be curtailed as well. So these two areas will be done in parallel. They'll be done together, and it should be no surprise that they're going to stop you physically and by other means of communicating, people. They're stopping us from communicating with each other. So yeah, This is not a good look, people. Bit by bit, they will erode and take away our rights. And what we have to understand as well, people, just because Sir Keir Starmer's government, they've only been in government, is it 4, 5, 6 weeks? I'm not sure. Just because they were so swift to act, it doesn't mean that these people, they lie in the bulrushes and they are prepared to wait for as long as it takes, people. Seriously, they are prepared to wait. I watch a lot of animal programs, and it's just like the animals in the animal kingdom. It's like the crocodiles who will wait just under the surface, just long enough for the other animals to think that there's no threat there. So when they venture to the watering hole, they'll come for a drink, and the crocodile will snap and catch its prey. They could wait for an eternity, people. But if an opportunity arises, they will take it so swiftly. So we need to do things legally, we need to do things carefully, and we need to raise our questions and our fears in a positive manner, people. We need to do it to actually make certain that this government is forced to listen to us and to respond to us via the correct channels. But seeing this has just, I don't know, I just had a thought just seeing this. And it's the quote. I love quotes, people. I love films. So William Wallace, Braveheart, just have this in mind, people. But remember, peaceful. Remember, do not let them, and do not give them the chance to bang you into jail or to use our words against us in our efforts to get ourselves heard about all of the issues. There's a few at the front, but there's a lot of issues that we need to speak to this government about and to get them resolved. So guys, William Wallace, and he said, "I am William Wallace, and I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men, and free men you are. But what will you do without freedom? I fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. But at least you'll live a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all of those days from this day, that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and to tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedoms?" So the gist of that, people, is when we say fight, we don't mean physically fight, but we mean to do all of what we can within the legal, lawful framework to make certain that our voices are heard and we're listened to and responded to in kind, people. Because right now, Sir Keir Starmer has basically told us and shooed us away, said, I'm not interested at all. He doesn't want to listen to us in any way, shape or form. But guys, the gist I'm getting from William Wallace, and we know it was a script written for Braveheart, so obviously these probably weren't his real words. But what he was saying is, stand up for what you believe in. And yes, you may be roughshod over, whatever they call it, people. But if you cower and you close your mouth and you go into a corner, yes, you may not put your head over the parapet, look over, and you won't be shot down. Then you might live a long life, but it won't be a life full of freedom, people. It'll be a life filled with fear. So what we need to do, people, is to have the freedom to voice our opinion whilst we still can. And we need to voice our opinion, and we need to voice it loud so the whole world can hear and see what's happening in our beautiful and beloved country. It's not great, people, and it shouldn't happen. But guys, united we stand, divided we fall apart, and we have no power. And I know for a fact that there is an goal here to divide us, and to divide us in so many different ways. So let's make certain that we're united. Let's make certain that we get the letter writing, we get the emails, we speak to our MPs, we do everything that we can in our power to make our voices heard and to get our concerns listened to and heard at the top table. And make certain that we do it in front of the eyes of the world. The world is watching, and the world will watch. And probably they're watching aghast. But guys, make certain you look after yourselves, you look after each other, you go out, guys, and live a good life and have fun, but you do it safely and peacefully. And guys, make certain that you come back to the next Urb'n Barz reaction, guys.